Alright guys, so we're going to look at the top 10 WWDC features that Apple announced. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech, going for a recce is the gaming tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie.
Alright guys, so we're here to do our top 10 WWDC 2018 announcements that Apple has announced. The conference happened yesterday, so it's fresh out the gate, and we got some exciting things that are coming down the pipeline for everyone, for either iOS users for iPhone or for Watch iOS or for Mac users and all that stuff. I picked the top 10 things that are relevant to me with the stuff I have, so I'm going to run you through those now, what I think is the most important top 10 for you guys to know about. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Number 1 is ARKit. Number 1 is ARKit. Now, ARKit is a really big deal. If you guys do not know what AR is, AR, obviously you guys know what VR is because you've seen a lot of my videos in the past. If you haven't, obviously go check those out. AR, the difference between AR and VR, now we'll do a video about this one day to do a full comparison, but basically, VR is you getting put into a virtual world, and AR is objects and things being put into the world you're currently in. That's basically the simple way of putting it. So you put on some glasses, or in this case, you take your phone, your iPad, you move it around, and you're seeing objects through the lens of what you're looking at, in this case, the iPad or the iPhone, of what's actually not there, but is there because it's placed in there by AR. That's basically the simple terms of it. Now, what Apple's doing with ARKit 2, because this was already out last year, there's actually a lot of good apps out there that you guys should probably check out as far as ARKit goes. And what they added this year that's a really big deal is a few things. Is one of them is shared experiences, and it's basically a clip of an AR demo that you can now play together with other people. So and the experience doesn't change. So for example, me and my wife could be playing. If she was here and I had an iPhone and she had an iPhone, and we were playing with it like that, what they show here, a blocking game, and we're shooting at each other, trying to knock the blocks off the table. That wasn't possible before. It was always just a one-person experience. Like it was you with your phone, and then you would do it. Now, you can have other people with their phones, and you having their phone and have multiplayer experiences or shared experiences with together, and that's going to be huge for a lot of cool apps that may be coming out in the future with that. So the next thing that they have also is the measuring application. So the measuring application is simple. You can see here, I can measure anything I want, and it will tell me the exact size and dimensions of what I'm looking at. So that's also when and it's really accurate from the testing I've done. So when you're in a bind and you're trying to figure out how much space your wall has to put in a piece of furniture, you can use this measuring app that's now available. It's going to be available on all iOS devices. It's made from Apple, and you can go ahead and just measure it right out. So that's another cool thing that AR can do for people. One of the other big announcements is that they actually announced a new AR file format. So what that means now is, since there's an actual file type for it, now you can actually send these like objects and stuff through email and through iMessage and all that stuff, and then put it right into the AR world. So if someone, as an example, created a water gun, and they sent it to you in this file format in an iMessage or in an email, you can open it up and it will be right in AR right in front of you. So because that's the kind of format of the file is in. So that's going to be awesome. Let people share AR objects and things more simply out there. Some of the other things you could do with AR, obviously, is you can put objects into the world, like I showed you. You can see here a quick demo of me putting somebody in here, and you could take a picture, like if you're standing next to them, even though you're not really there. So there's a lot of cool experiences out there that you guys should definitely check out with AR, and more things to look forward to in the future with these enhancements that they're making with ARKit 2. The next thing on the list is the Photos application. They have some updates on here that are really good. The Photos app now has a For You section. That's where all your memories now live. But on top of the fact that where your memories live now, it also lets you it will also start recommending events to you, and it will organize things for you. And it will recommend what you should be sharing. So let's say yesterday you went out to a bar for a birthday party, and you took 5 pictures and your friend took 5 pictures. So when you get back and you open up your For You application, you might see the 5 pictures you took, and it will know by detecting whose face is in those pictures, based on your contacts and stuff, that, oh, you should share it with these, do you want to share it with these 5 people that are in the picture with you because they want to see the pictures. They'll get the pictures, and then on top of that, when they get the pictures, it will realize what pictures are, I don't have, that are missing from the 5 I just sent, and it will tell them, like, hey, do you want to share back these 2 missing pictures that he doesn't have, and share it back to him, so now everyone has the whole collection together. So, really cool way of sharing photos and stuff that they have on there. One of the other things in the photo application that's really cool too is a new searching tab that you can see here. The searching tab now has everything organized by like different categories. So there's like a bar, like, you know, organize things by bar, or like club pictures, beach pictures. So a lot of cool different organization. Obviously all the people. It's just a really good looking clean interface compared to what it was before, to let you find different photos between different things. And the search is actually much better when you search like for certain things like keyword beach or something like that. All your beach pictures will come up. If you search for car, all the car pictures will come up. Things like that to make searching even better through your photos, especially if you have a lot of photos on your phone like most people do. The next thing that we have on our list is really important because it's one of my favorite, easily my favorite feature coming out from this conference, and that's Siri shortcuts. Now this is why this is a big deal. So, as we all know, Siri is not the smartest person out there when it comes to smart assistants currently. She doesn't do a lot of things with third-party applications, especially because it has to be built right into those applications and approved by Apple, yada yada. So, what Siri Shortcuts does is two things. The first part of it is now developers can put a shortcut into an application that just adds a little button when you have their application open and says, add shortcut to Siri, and it will let you customize the word that it says. So let's say, for example, I go to Dunkin' Donuts every day, and I order a coffee that I want, that I order online, and then I just get there and pick it up as soon as I get there. So instead of you getting there and having to wait for your coffee and then order it while you get there and go through the application of Dunkin' Donuts or whatever and go through all that, Dunkin' Donuts can add a little button on it that says add to Siri as a shortcut that says Carlos wants to order, or whoever wants to order that I want to order a coffee when I get there. So it will take that shortcut, add it to Siri. You can customize a word to say the phrase that you're going to tell Siri that says, order me my morning coffee. Let's say that that's what you wanted to tell Siri to do this every time. Now that shortcut is added into Siri. So every time I open up Siri and I say, order me a coffee, my morning coffee, it will come up and just do that for you. So when you get to that Dunkin' Donuts now, the coffee is ready for you and you just pick it up and you go. As opposed to you having to go through the application and go through the ordering and enter in your credit card, all that stuff. Siri will take care of that all at once. So think about all the possibilities with all the shortcuts that you can do in this case. There's a lot of shortcuts that applications can do now that they can insert in there. Now all the third-party apps can do stuff like that. But the bigger one and the more important one that I really like is the new shortcuts application that's actually going to release. It's going to be a separate application that you can actually use. You can see some of that here now. That you can make your own shortcuts to whatever you want it to be and organize them to do them like one after another. Good example is, let's say you wanted to go and do I'm coming home kind of thing, where you're saying I'm on my way home. Let's say that that's what you wanted to do, kind of like what they did on their presentations. Go into the application, I set up a shortcut, and my first shortcut could say, tell me how far I am from home. After you do that, turn on my fan at home. After you do that, set my thermostat to 70 degrees. And after you do that, start playing my podcast. All four of those are in one step. And you want that specific phrase to say, hey, I'm coming home. So now what you do is when you go back to Siri and you say, hey, I'm coming home, she'll do all that for you and she'll tell you like, hey, I set the thermostat to 70, I turned your fan on, and now your podcasts are playing and you're 25 minutes away from home. So she will do that all at once by taking all those things, by incorporating it from HomeKit, from any application on your phone, and you can just do that. And that's it. And that's how you can build shortcuts. And what's even more awesome with this application, not only does it open up a wide variety of abilities and letting you, do things in rapid succession with just one command that you can't do right now, but more importantly is that this is going to be like almost like a shortcut app store. So you don't only have to create your own. There's going to be hundreds of shortcuts in there created by Apple and whoever else might put stuff in there, so you can get ideas on what shortcuts to use based on what you have on your phone and stuff like that. So it's going to be like a mini app store just for shortcuts for Siri that you can add to your phone if you want to. I think this thing is super cool. It's going to take Siri to the next level. I don't have a HomePod for the exact reason of this, because it's missing a lot of Siri features, and Alexa and all that stuff blow it out of the water. And this could really compete with Alexa if they do a good job with this, and if it works as well as they say they do. They say it does. This can be a really big deal and really help them out with the HomeKit and all that other stuff going on with Siri. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. And one thing to mention is, like I said, this is going to work with iPhone and iPad, but it's also going to work with Watch iOS with Siri and with Siri on the HomePod as well. So obviously, if you make the shortcuts on your phone, those shortcuts will now start working on HomePod and on your watch if you talk to Siri on there too. So number 4 here, that's a really big deal here for me, and I don't know whoever else uses it, is whoever uses CarPlay out there is going to be really excited, because there's a lot of people out there who don't really like the Apple navigation system, and they use Waze or they use Google Maps and all that stuff, and you're finally going to be able to use third-party navigation systems while in CarPlay, and that's going to be awesome, because sometimes, you know, people want to use Waze and stuff like that, and it's going to be really cool that they finally added this. So, looking forward to that as well. One of the other things that they did is they're expanding the Do Not Disturb feature on here. So, before the Do Not Disturb is obviously you just hit the button and it just turns everything off on your phone, you're done, and it's just turned off, and that's it. Now what you could do with Do Not Disturb is a couple of different features on here. So, the first thing is when you wake up in the morning from now on, unless if you, I'm assuming you could disable it somewhere, but they didn't say either way, but I'm assuming you can. When you wake up in the morning, instead of you seeing, like, let's say 20 notifications that you may have missed overnight, it will ease you up in the morning. So it will just say, hey, good morning, the temperature is this kind of thing, and not show you any notifications on your lock screen. Give you some time to wake up because it knows that, you know, you're up now with the alarm or you picked up your phone or whatever. And then ease you into the notifications and show you them when you're ready. Just so you're not like, I guess the whole point of that is so you're not woken up at if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you pick up your phone to look at the time, you don't see like 20 notifications and you're like now going to stay up for an hour answering, you know, whatever notifications that weren't really that important to answer to begin with. Now they'll hide those from you so you can see them when, you know, you're actually up and further along in your day. It's kind of what that idea is like. It's the same thing with nighttime. Nighttime will, you know, when you're about to go to sleep, it will do the same thing. It will shut off the notifications from your lock screen, stuff like that. And you can also set different applications to Do Not Disturb. So you can set like a specific application, like let's say Twitter or something. If you don't want it to notify you like between the hours of 8 and 9 o'clock, then you could just set it and it won't send you notifications and it won't do anything for you. So that's kind of like the features that they're doing with the Do Not Disturb stuff. You can set it for a certain time for certain apps, not to disturb you during those certain hours as well. Now, one of the big things also that a lot of people are going to like out there is the notifications at number 6. Finally, they're going to be grouping notifications together. You can see here that you can finally, if you get like me, like 15 notifications within 10 minutes because you're in a giant GroupMe chat, and you see like 20 of those notifications all sitting on your lock screen individually. Now they're all going to be grouped together finally, and that's going to be awesome. And there's obviously, you can just clear them all at once if you need to, or you can see here that you can open the tab, and you'll see all the notifications pop up if you want to. If not, they'll all be hitting behind each other, ready for when you actually need them, not being as cluttered as it used to be. That's awesome. And I'm loving that feature already because I'm obviously using the iOS beta here for iOS 12, and it's working great. One of the other nice things about notifications is you can turn off the notification alerts right from the notification. So if you get a notification from an app, it will pop up, obviously like usual, and you can tap on it, and you can just turn off that notification completely so you never receive alerts from them again if it's an app you no longer want to see. Or sometimes it will even say things like, you can also set it to, you know, kind of like a Do Not Disturb thing where the notification pops up and you set a time and you say, hey, don't alert me about any notifications from this app for the next 3 hours because I don't want to see any more GroupMe messages from this group for 3 hours. So that's a cool thing, or for whatever app you want to set it to. So that's a nice thing as well. You can also set them instead to deliver them quietly. So if you just want them to keep coming to your phone but just not making any, you know, notification noises or any vibrations or anything, you could just set it to do that as well and deliver them for the next 2 hours quietly or whatever you want to do. So a lot of customization there with notifications. Now, we can't go throughout this list at number 7 without talking about what's on everyone's mind that you guys have already seen. Animojis are back in a big way. So first of all, they have 4 new Animojis that you can see here. They have one from a dinosaur, they have a koala bear and stuff like that. 4 new Animojis for you guys to play with. Now the videos, instead of being 10 seconds long, are now 30 seconds long, which they didn't advertise that at all there. But now they could be 30-second clips when you send them. But their big thing is that now there's Memojis where you can actually create yourself, and you can see that me creating one here now, and me creating myself and what I look like, and you can actually create yourself and, you know, create multiple of yourself in different styles and stuff like that. So there's a lot of customization options already in there, and it looked pretty good actually. And what's even nicer about it is one of the other things that they added that you can do with not just your Memoji but all the regular Animojis is tongue detection. So if you stick your tongue out, it will actually detect your tongue. And if you raise your, if you close your eyelids, it will actually detect that as well, and it will close its eyelid. And if you're doing a wink or something like that, it will detect that as well. One of the other things cool about it is that the Memoji is not just, you don't have to just send that by itself. You can actually open up the camera, and it will actually like encompass obviously your head, and now that Memoji is like actually your body, like it is here, which is pretty funny. And you can do that with any of the Animojis. They actually look really good because the detection works really well, so it actually looks like it's your actual head. And it looks really good, and it's really funny to send those videos out. One of the other things they did in the camera is you can actually use the camera effects now. So you can go in there and add effects with the camera, and kind of like Snapchat, where you can put your Emoji character in there. You can add text in there. You can add different pictures in there. You can add stickers from the sticker packs that they've had for a while. and on the iPhone, you know, all sorts of stuff. All obviously filters like Snapchat has. You can add some of those in there. So a lot of variety of camera effects that you can now apply, which is really neat. Now, the big thing that a lot of people are also going to like here at number 8, which is a really big deal that I've been waiting for since God knows how long now, and I'm sure a lot of people have, is FaceTime group messaging. Now, before it was only one, and they didn't go just big. They went really big. They went from having only one-on-one conversations to now having 32 conversations all at once. And the interface that they show here actually looks pretty good. The way that they, you know, obviously whoever's talking goes to the forefront if you automatically, so you see them. And if you want to, you know, tap on one of the people at the bottom, if you have a lot of people in the group chat, you could just tap them and they'll go to the forefront if you actually click on them. But if you don't click on anything, whoever is talking will be the one in the main center. So the interface looks really cool. It looks like it works, and I can't wait to try this out with, you know, once more people have iOS 12 that I can actually mess around with FaceTime with. And number 9 here that we have is for the Apple Watch. 2 of the features that I really liked on the Apple Watch that they announced is the competition. So, you know, the activity things that you can do, kind of like Fitbit, where you can have competitions against people to see how many steps you do in a day, or how many circles you can, if you can complete your circle and all that stuff. They're adding competitions into the activity feed on the Apple Watch, so you're going to have competitions against your friends and earn little badges and stuff like that. So that's going to make you work out even more, because there's actually got to be competitions now, which is really cool. Obviously, it's a lot similar like Fitbit, but it's nice that it's finally on the Apple Watch, because they definitely needed that, because I missed it when I had my Fitbit, to have competitions, because it gives you motivation to, you know, beat your friends when you're doing that stuff. The other feature that they're going to add to the Apple Watch is really nice, that I'm excited to try out, is the Walkie Talkie. So when I first heard about this, I was like, but this just sounds like it's an iMessage, like you can just send a voice message. Why is this any different? Well, there is a reason why it's different, because it's legitimately like a walkie-talkie. If you click on someone who has an Apple Watch on your favorites or something on the application, they will get a little like 2 or 3 second like bing, like a walkie-talkie sound, like someone's about to talk to them, and then they'll just hear you talk. So the reason that it's different from an actual voice message is a voice message obviously sends through a message, and they have to listen to it later, or they have to click on it to listen to it, and then you do the same thing back. This is just like an instant, like, hey, you press the walkie-talkie button, you wait 2 seconds like a walkie-talkie, you start talking, they hear you as you're talking, and then they press the walkie-talkie, and you go back and forth. Obviously, you know what, guys, what a walkie-talkie is. It's the exact same concept, except it's like instant communication back and forth without doing anything. That's going to be a pretty cool feature. I'm excited to see how well that works and how often that gets used. So that's for the Apple Watch. Now, we'll leave number 10 for the most important part that they drove home on this conference, which is obviously speed and performance. The speed and performance was their main concentration that they talked about. They talked about it as their first thing, that they really wanted this to be a really good, you know, clean, very speedy. They talked about, like, you know, 50% faster for applications opening and 70% faster when under load, when all the applications open. So they're doing a lot of improvements to get the OS running a lot smoother than it was for a lot of people for iOS 11, and running it even better. And if it was running fine for you, getting even more performance out of it. People have already started running benchmarks that they see the graphics have went up on the Geekbench results, like 3 or 4,000 points or something like that. So it's crazy how the performance is already starting to, you know, get a lot better, even in Beta 1 that I'm running now. I haven't had any significant Beta 1 issues yet. It's probably the most stable Beta 1 I've had so far. All my applications have run with no issues. I haven't had any weird crashes. There have been a little bit of weird bugs with notifications and stuff popping up, but nothing game-breaking. My phone hasn't froze. It hasn't crashed anything yet. I'm not telling you guys to install it, because everyone's experience is going to be different based on what applications they have and what carrier they have and all that stuff. I'm just telling you that, like, it's the best Beta 1 I've used so far. Take that as you will. A couple of mentions here that I wanted to talk about that I didn't fit onto this list, but I just wanted to go back real quick. Dolby Atmos is finally coming to the Apple TV for all your Apple TV users. If you are excited for Dolby Atmos like me, because I have an Apple TV down here, they're finally going to add Dolby Atmos support. And what's nice, of course, is like their 4K Blu-rays that they did, where if you had the digital code, they upgraded you for free to the 4K version. Same thing here. If you have the movie already and it's going to support Dolby Atmos, you'll get upgraded for free to Dolby Atmos, of course. And you'll be able to use it. I'm excited for that, because I have an Apple TV with my Atmos set up here in the movie room. One of the other cool things that they're doing is like monthly reports of usage on your phone, which is really interesting. You can see here that you can actually look at your usage based on how long you're using every application. You can go in there and limit yourself to how much time you're spending on Twitter and Facebook and all those things, and it will pop up and say, hey, you've used all your limit. Do you really want to bypass this right now? Because you've already used your 2 hours you allocated, you know, stuff like that. Obviously, it's more catered to kids because you can, obviously if they're part of your family member, you can, and they're a kid, you can, minimize how many times they can use their social applications or how long, and how many times they can play games on their phone, stuff like that. But this breakdown is really nice because it tells you, it gives you a look on how often you're using your phone, how many times you even pick up your phone, and how often you're using it and turning it on per hour. Just a lot of cool statistics for you to look at that they come out with every month to see your reports. So that's a pretty cool feature so you can keep an eye on how many times you're using your phone and what applications are taking up your most time and stuff like that if that interests you. So I just wanted to mention that, and it's obviously going to be really good for parental controls for kids and stuff like that. That's going to make it really easy to control your kids on what they're doing with their phone. So that is the top 10 with a couple of bonus ones of WWDC features that they announced. I'm really excited for some of these upcoming features. I obviously have iOS 12 beta running on the iPad with no issues currently so far, and on my iPhone, and on the Apple Watch I have that as well. I like to get things first. I don't have a problem with it if there's bugs and stuff. Some people do. I don't. I like testing and messing around with things. And so far so good with how that's going. I'm excited to, for future betas, because right now that shortcut app that I was mentioning that I was really excited about is not obviously in the beta 1. Hopefully it comes out in beta 2 or 3 so we can mess with that and really get into serious stuff and see how that goes. But some of the features are here. You guys just saw them on my phone. So that's it, guys. That's the top 10. I appreciate everybody for watching. If you have any questions of any of the features that I talked about or anything you may have seen that you want clarification on, that you may have saw at the Apple conference, go ahead and leave those comments below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.
Tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie, gaming tech. Eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming